Hey!
Whoa! Hello, everybody. Good evening. How are we all doing?
Good evening.
Good evening. Hello, everyone.
Adjust everything.
Yeah. Just move everything
We've
about.
had all day, but it's just that final adjustment helps.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to February's Open Collab. I am Charlie.
Already. Oh, and I'm Jake.
Yeah, and we're Charlie and Jake, and this is Open Collab. I think most of you in the chat, it looks like you're all mostly regulars, but if you've not been here before, you're very welcome. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to our little home studio here in Bristol.
Here we are.
We are two multi-instrumentalist people, I think.
Yeah, musicians.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And every month we improvise musical worlds. That's what we call it, musical universes around spoken word and poetry.
I think we started with worlds, but it's got bigger, so we now call them musical universes because, why not?
So we have been sent a load of incredible poetry and spoken word from all over the country and all over the world. And we're delighted to be making music to all of that tonight. We've had a look, we've had a listen, we've got a few ideas, but most of it is all going to be made up in front of your eyes.
Right here.
I saw a question in the chat. So it's free to watch Open Collab. It's totally free and accessible to everybody. But we would love it if you could, if you feel like you can, and if you feel like you're enjoying the show and you want to see more of it, you want it to happen every month, then the way you can help make that happen is by buying us an online ticket. Just a little donation via our coffee page, coffee.com/Open Collab.
Yeah.
And we also have a Patreon page. Patreon is kind of, it's a monthly subscription. You can cancel at any time. And every month for what it would cost for, I don't know, like a pint at a poetry night in the real world.
Oh, that'd be nice.
For that cost, you can be part of our Patreon family.
Yeah.
And we'll do things like give you extra behind the scenes kind of stuff. We do a video monthly update talking you through what's going on with Open Collab.
Yeah.
We also do tomorrow morning. We're going to be doing our Sunday brunch behind the scenes live stream, which is an extra live stream where we break down all the tracks and kind of talk through all our creative decisions around all the poetry, which is good fun.
Yeah. And the links to those are in the chat. I think I've pinned one of them at the top, or you can just scroll back up, I think, and you'll be able to find them. But to buy us a coffee or go and support us on Patreon if you're able, that would be lovely.
Yeah. So what else to tell you? If you haven't found the comments yet, they should be on the right? And please do comment loads. We love to see all your feedback. Talk about the poetry, talk about the music, say hi to your mates, whatever. We just want to see, we miss crowds and laughter and people talking over the music and people clapping, more importantly. Yeah. We miss it so much. So please do. It means the world to us. Every clap emoji, every kind of keep going or whatever is super cool. So I hope you guys are comfy.
Yeah.
I hope that you're ready for a lovely evening of music and poetry. Get yourself sorted, get it, on the telly, get it connected to your speaker. We're going to be panning stuff. It's going to be left and right, and there's bass and whatever.
Up
so
and
make
down,
sure.
Front and back.
Exactly. Make sure you've got a really, good setup and you're comfy and ready to go. What else have we got to tell you?
Is that enough for now?
That'll do for now, I reckon. Let's get into it.
We'll have some more later. But let's begin with our first collaboration and our first poet of the night. So the first collaboration of the February Open Collab is going to be with Miles Raphael. And this is a little bio about him. Miles Raphael is a poet, spoken word performer, and workshop facilitator from Southeast London. He is a regular performer on Poetic Unity's Poets Corner and the International Slam, which features poets and musicians from the UK, America and Canada, and has also self-published a poetry collection entitled Treatment. And his piece that he shared with us today is called Burning Rose, and this is what he's got to say about the poem. The piece is about a relationship that has become unbalanced, with one person looking after the other and being overly responsible for their well-being to such an extent it ultimately becomes harmful to them both. So,
Wow.
without further ado, we will add some music and we will hear his words and his voice, and we'll have a lovely time.
Let's have a lovely time then,
Yeah.
shall we?
My love, you are a burning rose. Hands cannot touch you, they'll be exposed. It's not good enough, strong enough, safe enough to pick you up and carry you home, to plant you in a place where you will no longer be alone. I lost my life by carrying another's and bearing two and not just mine. I lay seeds in a loyalty so deep its limits could not be seen. I soaked my feet in grapes most sour, they cried, they whined, but no wine, only stains you will find. Beat the colour of fake blood, hands the colour of fake love. Here they are, open, soft and smooth. Too supple and far too keen, they burn quickly, my love. They blister, they bleed. Tender as meat, they slide off the bone. I cannot give you touch, I cannot help you to roam. I can no longer lift up, I can only let go. My hands are far too full of flesh. When you did not take them, I was left to find my own way to fend off the frightful things that caused you to stress. We did not go together, no, I forged ahead, till in safety you could make your nest, where you moaned about the rest of the things you had lost, your pain and its terrible cost. No one gave you a chance, oh the things you could achieve, there is greatness in you, you would have me believe. Yet here I am, praying for holes to appear in my palms, to make my child mirror the sun of the one above, for God to give me a sign that this is love, that I'm doing something greater and there's meaning in this loss. God speaks, but his voice is cut short. My hands are not holy and this fight can no longer be fought. The promise of adolescence, the reality of the past, very few of us grow beyond the limits of the garden path. I've walked past the ashes of many a burning rose. When I speak of our young, it can be hard to take breath. Smoke takes the shape of unrest, ashes leave quite the mess. My love, you are a burning rose, the invisible promise, the visible threat. You make all other roses seem equally bloody and violent. The fire becomes normal, the pop of the crackle, the boom of the blaze left me thinking similar sounds would cause a similar pain. It's not great, I don't know who to blame, but I learned a wretched way to behave. Cynical and self-involved, my whole world shrank to just myself and all those I had to hold. Our silhouettes were marionettes as Plato's cave became my abode. The thing is, all fires need oxygen to breathe. So when out of breath, I could finally start to see. My breath held in check, billowed my cheeks and let the fire burn. But here's the catch, for that, I had to stop breathing. So now I am breathing, and the fire wanes till my breath starving to fuel and blow it away. I see that a rose is a flower, one of the most sublime, and fire is the breath of life. A burning rose only causes strife, yet roses come in all shapes and types. So, my love, you are a burning rose. In holding you, we are both lesser versions of ourselves. This love is not replete with ways to coax it to repeat, to just be without the incredible heat. It cannot be, so I must leave, to find other flowers, plants and roses too, ones that are the most reciprocal. God will guide my hand the further I go. His voice is ever louder, edging me towards so many roses I have since been grateful to encounter.
No longer lift up, I can only let go. I can no longer lift up, I can only let go. I can no longer lift up, I can only let go. I can no no longer lift up, I can only let go. I can no longer lift up, I can only let go. My love, you are burning rose. My love, you are burning rose. Yeah, I can no longer lift up, I can only let go. I can no longer lift up, I can only let go. I can no longer lift up, I can only let go. I can no longer lift up, I can only let go. I can no longer lift up, I can only let go. Only let go. I can no longer lift up, I can only let go. Ooh, I can no longer lift up, I can only let go. Only let. My love, you are a burning rose. Oh, I can no longer lift up, I can only let go. I can no longer lift up, I can only let go. I can no longer lift up, I can only let go. I can no longer lift up, I can only let go. I can no longer lift up, I can only let go. Wow.
Thank you, Miles. Sending that
Choked
in.
up. That was amazing. Thanks, Miles.
Yeah, quite a felt quite mournful in its sort of the loss of time that he is talking about.
Yeah.
Quite.
Really, really sad.
Yeah.
I think we could have really been a lot more sad and a lot more downbeat about that. But I think it was important to. It kind of felt like it was talking about moving on from that situation, and so I think we kind of both felt like we needed to find something stronger, more kind of nostalgic and kind of looking back.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much, Miles. That was awesome. Really, really cool, and really delighted to have you here because I've been looking at your stuff on Instagram for a long time, and so it's really cool that you got in touch. Anyway, I need to cough a bit more, so
I'll talk.
yeah.
So the next, I also need to cough. We both need to cough. No, it's fine. Wonderful. Yeah. So the next poet that will be working with their poetry is Bob Mackenzie, who I've seen in the chat. Hi, Bob. And Bob is from Canada. It's kind of Kingston, Ontario, Canada. He said in the chat as well. And so a little bit about Bob. He's got a bit of a bio that's going to be about the poem in video form, so we'll hear him talk about his piece in his words, which is lovely. But a little bit about Bob first. So Bob's poetry has appeared in over 400 journals across North America and as far away as Australia, Greece, India, and Italy. He's published 16 volumes of poetry and prose fiction and been in numerous anthologies. He's also released 7 albums of poetry spoken and sung live over original music. Wow. And also his latest book, Somewhere Still in the Wind, The Tree is Bending, is available from Silverbow Publishing. So if you like his stuff, you can check that out.
Sure.
Let's just prepare ourselves and then we will let him tell you about the piece. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll be joined by him on screen if all things go well, which they mostly do.
Okay, what can I say about my poem, Leaving America? I suppose the first thing to say is it's not about me. It's written in an American voice, and I am not an American. I'm a Canadian and have always lived here. However, during the Vietnam War, we were a refuge for a lot of young Americans who moved out of their country to to avoid participating in an illegal war. And of course, I met quite a number of them in various circumstances when they came up and while they were here at the time. And since then, I've still known and do know quite a few American refugees from that war who have come to Canada and stayed for all the time since. And so I've gotten a feeling of kind of how this has affected them and how they feel about it. And so I think this is important. So I thought, how do I write something about this? If I sat down and just wrote about how I feel, then it would be like an essay on history or something. And if I wrote in more detail, it would be like a documentary. And I thought, no, let's let one of these people speak for himself. And so I wrote this poem in the voice of a young man who had come to Canada during the war and had stayed here the rest of his life. So that's where the poem comes from. I felt it was easier to just have him narrate it, to say, this is what happened to me. And it seems to have worked. I find when I do this poem in readings, often people up in the audience came up and asked me if I was one of those people. So I'm very pleased that my transcription, shall we say, worked so well. And so, yeah, that's about it. Leaving America is about leaving America for your own safety, not because you want to. And it's about how that affected the young men and women, too, who came to Canada during that time and have become valuable Canadian citizens. So I don't know what else I can say about that. I hope that the reading will be enjoyable. I'm looking forward to hearing the poem with some impromptu music. That'll be really interesting. So thank you very much to Charlie and Jake for doing this.
Leaving America. Moving was never easy. Not across town, not to a new city, a faraway state. This was America. A new job for Dad. Good schools, new friends, Mom said. That was our life growing up in 50s America. My world was never Father Knows Best, American graffiti, perfect. My world died. Kennedy was killed. King was killed. Bobby was killed. There was the war away in the Eastern world. Not my war, not mine. Old enough to kill, I felt the draft blowing my way. Something had died deep in my homeland, deep in my heart that would never live after this. I could have stayed, could have signed up, I suppose fought, as some did and died, perhaps. I was afraid not of joining, not of fighting, but of America, what it had become. Moving was not easy, not out of America, not to a strange city, to another land, so different yet so much the same. Not just an immigrant, I was a refugee, a stranger in a strange land, draft dodger to some, coward and traitor, even in Canada. Some called me and others political freedom fighters, conscientious objectors. Americans in Canada unable to ever go home. We only felt very alone. An amnesty was announced. Most of us in Canada didn't trust this amnesty, didn't trust America anymore. Fearing a trap, most of us stayed, put on ill-fitting Canadian identities, became uneasy citizens of our new land. Half a century later, estranged from our home, many of us have died, not from war, but old age and regret. This betrayal of us and by us remains a cancer in our hearts. I have no regret that I left America, only that America made leaving necessary, took from me my home. I cannot forget.
Wow, thank you, Bob. What an amazing story. And a part of history I'm ashamed to say I don't know much about, and I didn't know that was happening. So thank you so much for telling that really important story. And really, really cool to, you know, as you said, kind of tell this story on behalf of someone else too. Really, really, really cool. And we were really excited by, when you sent this in, it was something, you know, really different for us and really different for Open Collab.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. What a great story. Wow. Can see the comments coming in too. Yeah, so Nikki's saying it was such a lovely way of writing. I feel as though I'm listening to someone tell me a story. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. A wonderful story. And that's such a journey that we tried to emulate as well with our musical interpretation of it and accompaniment. Yeah. That was lovely.
Really
Thanks
nice.
very much for sending that in.
Thank you, Bob. Where were your footsteps from, by the way, Jake?
The Footsteps is a little I've got a new term for all of this stuff. Those of you who are regulars, you might know it as Atmos, but I've been reading and there's a better word for it. It's a sonic souvenir. Or a sound souvenir. And it's a sound souvenir from when I was in Australia visiting my uncle who lives on an island off the coast of the very far southeastern tip of Australia. And I was walking on that island and recording it. And it's a lovely sound. And I've got lots of other sounds from all over the place. Little souvenirs of sounds.
I quite like it. I quite like it.
If I use it enough, we'll all come round to it.
Sure. Sound
brilliant.
Souvenir. Awesome. Where are we going now?
Where are we going now? We are going to do something that we like to do on Open Collab, actually. A little bit of a sort of combination of two different poets and two different pieces who have both sent their stuff in to us this month. And although, they may know each other, but they didn't necessarily know that they were submitting the same thing or to the same project. And but sometimes these little connections come up in our minds of the world that one poem is talking about is very similar to the world that another one is talking about. So since we're in the business of sonic worlds, let's combine them together, you know. So this is the next two is going to be Steve Head with his piece In the Long Grass, and then also Jimmy Bowman with his piece Flying Ants. So I think we'll give a little bit of an introduction to both of them first, and then we'll start the universe and let them take it from there.
Sure.
So a little bit about Steve Head to start with. Steve Head is a poet and soon-to-be novelist from the leafy dullness of the London suburbs. He started writing poetry as an attempt to decrypt the unfathomable weirdness of adolescence.
You want to have another go at No, I can't.
I carried on. I took it in my stride.
Unfathomable. Gosh.
The strange weirdness of adolescence, and continued when he realized that it made him appear somewhat cooler than he actually is. Steve's debut poetry collection, Blueprints, is now available via Amazon. And before I tell you about Steve's piece, I'll just tell you a little bit about Jimmy as well, so that we have some context before we get to him when we come to him in a bit. So Jimmy Bowman is a poet and teacher of English, media and film at a state secondary school in South London, where he grew up on a working class estate. Jimmy also produces and presents People's Poetry Podcast, and I think you might have seen People's Poetry Podcast in the chat. So hi Jimmy, sorry. In which he travels the UK chatting to poets about their work and the UK's continued love affair with poetry. And we have been on that.
We certainly have.
On that podcast with talking about Open Collab, wasn't it?
It was back in kind of April, May time.
Just as we were beginning.
And I think he's got a new series. Hopefully he's in the chat and can tell me. But he's definitely got a new series coming out very soon, maybe this month. But yeah really exciting. It's a really lovely podcast. So do check that out. Yeah,
brilliant. So back to Steve Head with his piece, In the Long Grass. This is what he has to say about the poem. I spent half my teenage years hanging out with my mates in the sprawling fields that encircled our sleepy suburban town. They became a kind of haven, a place where we would return to whenever we needed to get away from the world for a while. As we grew older, we visited the fields much less frequently, and they took on a whole new significance as a kind of relic of a more carefree time, an artifact of a simpler life and our fast receding youth. Brilliant. Yes, Jimmy says that Series 6 starting at the beginning of March, so look out for that. Right, so for this, we will prepare ourselves, and then we will create a soundscape around these two pieces. Are we ready?
Yeah, I think so.
Ready. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
You're ready?
No, I need to...
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to grab something, and we'll use it later. It's very exciting. That'll come into play a little bit later on.
Right.
So first of all, this is Steve Head with In the Long Grass.
In the long grass, out in the fields at the edge of town, behind the estate with its high-rise spires and ordered sprawl of red brick homes, and windswept streets where we'd kick off with the roughneck local kids over dubious ball game scorelines, and lay talking about our school-time awkward adolescent fumble at the end of the playing field and then regrettably not much more times, with the sun overhead and our heads in our hands, staring up into blue skies and power lines, and the whole humming blur of it all, so glaringly present in moments that never felt momentous until later recalled. Just minutes and hours, in the long grass and flowers, turning red in the sunshine, feeling 5 miles tall. And then again in the long grass, cut in rows that concealed us from the unwelcome gaze of a town that we'd spent 18 years trying to leave. Just smoking our wages and wasting our summers rum drunk in the streets. Beneath the weight of the change that we all knew was coming, that we heard from a distance like a fast-moving train, and felt on our skin like the wind before rain. And though we hit the ground running, we could never outrun it. So we lay in the long grass in the late afternoon, as the sun dragged our shadows through the Hertfordshire clay, and waited for lives that would come for us soon, and slowly but surely cut our old lives away. So many years later, after falling so far, we walked in that long grass and talked for hours about the past, and how the present connected to those helium days, when we floated above it all high on the haze, how we burned ever brighter like fields set ablaze, and how the heat beat incessantly, stripped the wings from our shoulders, sent us spiraling downwards into drinks that consoled us and jobs that controlled us, until a decade had passed and left us 20 years older. So we came back to all that we'd once left behind, to the places that rippled like wrinkles in time, that somehow remained undisturbed and unchanged, like lines on the palm of a hand. And now, far from the long grass, living rainy day plans, I find I'm thinking more often about all of those moments that we spent gazing skywards, all those hours I soared before life made me heavy and time made me a man. We are slow burning comets on a course round the sun, but I am stuck staring backwards at the trail I have left and the things I have done. So when our lives leave us empty and the world has derailed, I will think of the long grass where we lay and believed that our dreams would prevail.
Flying Ants is a poem that features alongside a collection of other poems that I wrote about the estate I grew up in and around. It's a poem about feeling trapped. Sometimes estates can get on top of you, and I think because of the physicality of them as well, especially, it can tend to make you feel that you're never going to leave that area, that place. And I think Flying Ants get a lot of bad press, they get a lot of negative attention, and I used to spend a lot of time as a small child, as a lot of boys do, playing soldiers in the dirt or on my knees in the dirt, messing about, always caked in mud. And the ants used to fascinate me. I used to watch the ants and the way they worked, and they'd pass like seeds around and they'd walk with the seeds on their head. And I always thought it was amazing how these little creatures work together, but even more amazing that some of them randomly had wings and they could just fly the nest and start a colony of their own. And I aspired to be a bit like a flying ant later in life, and that's what this poem is about. And I didn't realise that they discard their wings, and I couldn't believe it when I found out. I thought, if you were given wings, you could go anywhere. What waste to get rid of them. But it kind of is poetic in itself, because they're that content with the spot that they found. They set up and make home, and ultimately that estate was where I felt most at home. Flying ants. When I was small, I'd sit on the slab of green in the middle of the estate watching the ants. their disciplined lines, my first real lesson in hard graft. An ant can lift 20 times its own body weight and does so selflessly in line, grain held proudly above its body. I never watched a rogue ant run off into the boggy sunset. The line didn't go there. They live in extremes, fight to their deaths, work themselves into the ground, but always in line. 1 week each year I'd listen as people moaned about the flying ants, how they'd swarmed up and taken over the estate. Every year I'd watch them, green eyes glinting. When they find a suitable spot, they discard their wings. What a waste. Each year I flew high above Crundale Tower in search of a new nest. Nuptial flight, freedom my queen, the Peckham House colony far behind. Wings discarded, I gripped the dirt, letting it pass through my fingers like a sieve. One day, I'd return to the earth, and this would be someone else's grain to burden. But what a burden it is.
Wow. Both of you. Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you so much, Jimmy. It's Jimmy's first time here, so thank you so much. And Steve, we've worked with his poetry quite a few times, and we're delighted that he keeps coming back for more. Both of you, just incredible pieces, and we wanted to put them together, even though they were about very, very different kind of things in the specifics. Just that nostalgic feeling and that kind of looking back, we really wanted to put together. And I loved. I don't know if you guys spotted, but I didn't realise you were going to do that. But Jake made a percussion out of just flicking through a book. Amazing. Really fun. Really fun. So thank you so much to you both. I mean, what amazing pieces, and it's just part of the privilege of running this event is finding those two poems from two people that maybe have never met, you know, but finding those shared experiences and putting them together. What a joy. Thank you so much, both of you. Two incredible pieces. Lots of comments coming through too. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, Oh no, that's all right. Yeah, lots of compliments for them both, and rightly so.
Really, really cool.
Loved the book Percussion. Yeah, so did I. It's a great sound. I learnt it from listening to a piece by Dominique Filsamy, who is an amazing. I think she's Canadian as well. Yeah. And her song Birds has got a lot of book and pages ruffling and just beautiful sort of crinkly sounds, and I use it all as much as possible now. It's really nice. I think now is probably a good time to talk about the special things that are happening now. That'll be in a bit. We've got one more collaboration for you, and then there'll be a little bit of something different, which maybe we'll talk about that when it comes up. But I wanted to talk about Philip.
Sure.
And that we have a special guest today that's going to be after the break. So don't go anywhere. We're coming up to the break, but we're not done yet. I'm just going to talk about Philip. Didn't really plan this bit of it. And we don't have his bio here. But he talks about, of course, I'm getting all lost. Anyway, we have decided to do something slightly different this evening and have a special guest on board, who is going to do a whole series of poems, and it's something that we like having these two pieces from two different people and creating an extended world around it. It's something that we've been wanting to try for a while, of having one poet share a couple of their pieces, and build morph between or create a whole world around them. And so that's what we've done with Philip John's poetry, which will be coming soon. So very excited for that. And thanks, Philip, for being a continued supporter of the Open Collab project.
Yes. Should we go back to Lindsay?
We will. Let's go back to Lindsay.
Yes. So next up is Lindsay Price. I'm feeling emotional looking at the title, so how I'm going to get through this, I'm not sure. So Lindsay's poem is called Poem for My Grandpa. And Lindsay is a spoken word artist with an interest in how art can be used as a tool for social change. Lindsay writes mainly about friendship, relationship, sexuality, fake news, and 90s movies. Brutally honest and almost aggressively vulnerable at times, Lindsay's work often takes on a philosophical nature, nearly always underpinned with an ounce of hope. She's inspired by the things that make us human and spends her days attempting to name the feelings that often leave us speechless. We're delighted to be welcoming Lindsay for her first time here at Open Collab. Lindsay's from Liverpool, and I believe that she's going to tell us about her poem, Poem for My Grandpa.
Yes. So.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Price and I am a poet based in Liverpool in the UK. And the poem I wanted to submit today is actually about my grandpa. Bit of a sad time last year. He actually passed away. And it was really sad for me and my family. But one of the lovely things was that he actually left his house to my mum, which meant that I got to move into this beautiful place. So really sad news, but also a really special thing to be able to move into this house that I kind of grew up in as a child. So yeah, the poem today is about my grandpa, and his name was Jack. My grandpa didn't say I love you, but he used to grow me a pumpkin from his plot every Halloween. Didn't say I love you, but insisted on calling me Tillyman up until I was 30. Didn't say I love you, but finished every call with are you okay for money. He planted dahlias in the autumn. They were 6 feet tall by spring. Everything he did it meticulously. 95 years of perfectionism, and he wound up with an artist granddaughter like me. Now deprived of his presence, I thrive off remembering summertime in his garden. Me with handmade rosewater, shelling peas and string beans. My grandpa never said I love you, but on every visit as a kid would press into my hand a stack of newspapers with the cartoon pages saved. Never said I love you, but one Christmas day I stormed out the house after an argument on mental health in the modern age, and he never once held it against me. My grandpa didn't say I love you, but he left behind a house for me. So now I press my feet into the earth he nurtured, in a garden filled with apple-scented memories. My grandpa could identify nearly every tree and the wood it would then make. Once bought a meat grinder so he could make better birdseed. I didn't know it was possible to make wholesome something that once pulverised meat. My grandpa used to feed his fox with dog food from Aldi. One day I walked onto the patio to see a wood pigeon resting on his outstretched sleeve, and my giddy feet scared it away. If you were here, I would tell him that I have been trying my best to tread lightly, in the hope that I too can one day lull an animal into feeling that safe. My grandpa was a carpenter by trade, but tucked away we find journals and scrapbooks filled with pictures and tickets from every country he's ever been. So My grandpa was sentimental in his own way. So what a waste it would be if I were caught up on the words he did or didn't say. I don't think we need people to communicate exactly the same. In fact, I think that's where the problem may be. My grandpa didn't say, "I love you," but he spent every day trying to show me.
So what a waste it would be if I was caught up on the words he did or didn't say. I don't think we need people to communicate exactly the same. In fact, I think that's where the problem may be. I think that's where the problem may be. So now I press my feet into the earthy nurture in a garden filled with apple-scented memories. If he were here, I would tell him that I am trying my best to tread lightly. If he were here, I would tell him I'm trying my best to tread lightly. He didn't say I love you, but he spent every day trying to show me. He didn't say I love you, but he spent every day trying to show me. He didn't say I love you, but he spent every day trying to show me. He didn't say I love you, but he spent every day trying to show me. If he were here, I would tell him that I am trying my best to tread lightly.
He didn't say I love you,
But he spent every day trying to show me what a waste it would be if I was caught up on the words he did or didn't say. I don't think we need people to communicate exactly the same. He didn't say I love you, but he spent every day trying to show me.
he spent every day trying to show me.
He spent every day trying to show me.
He spent every day.
If he were here, I would tell him that I'm trying my best to tread lightly.
day trying to show me.
He spent every day trying to show me.
He spent
Every day trying to show me. He spent every day trying to show me. Thank you, Lindsay. That was a really
nice. Yeah.
really, really nice. Thank you. Let's have a break, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen to the last poem,
Yeah.
and we're going to tell you all about that, and then let's have a break.
Yeah.
I will talk to Lindsay afterwards about how incredible and how moving I found that, but right now I can't quite find the words. But yeah, there's lots of words in the comments.
Yeah.
So the next piece, I can't.
So I'll talk. It's okay. So the next piece is quite different for us. We had this piece submitted to us last month, and we really liked it a lot and thought that we could do something slightly different. So we didn't put it in last month's show. We instead produced a little bit of a track around it, and then I got in touch with my good friend Simon Abel, who is an incredible musician and also a dancer. And he actually did a little bit of improv dance on the last show, but that's where is that they can find it somewhere. Anyway, this is the one that you want to worry about right now. So this is a collaboration between Leanne Moden and her poem Psychogeography, in collaboration with Charlie and I, and also Simon Abel doing some dancing. So a bit about Leanne Moden. Leanne is a poet, performer and educator based in Nottingham, UK, and she's also in the chat here. And she's performed at events across the UK and Europe, and was a semi-finalist at the BBC Edinburgh Fringe Slam in 2019. And Leanne is currently working on her first full-length theatre show, and her second pamphlet of poetry, Get Over Yourself, was published by Burning Eye Books in July 2020. Excellent. And this is what she has to say about the poem. Psychogeography was originally commissioned by Nottingham City Council for their Enchanted Waters storytelling project in 2019, which asked writers to respond to the Nottingham canals as an important historical and social part of the city. The poem is about taking alternative routes through a city, learning how to look at things from different perspectives, and appreciate the small but vitally important parts of the world around us. And we loved the piece, and we it was last Friday that I went and met up with Simon in Bristol, socially distanced of course, to film him improvising some dance for you, which you're going to see in a moment. And it just happened that was also at a sort of historically significant part of Bristol, up on there's a place, I think it's called the BT Tower, I don't know. It's just a big hill.
Is it Purdown?
Purdown, that's the one. It's a part of Bristol I don't really go to because it's very, very hilly, and I had to cycle and it was very cold. Anyway, enough about that. It was, it's actually like an old sort of abandoned bunker and anti-aircraft setup that was used in the war. So it's quite an interesting, like right on the top, you get an amazing view all around, and there's a little family of goats that live up there as well, which was surprising. And that's where we got Simon to do some lovely dance to it, and we have produced the track off screen, so this is not live, but we've collaborated it all together, and we're going to showcase it for you for the first time tonight on February's Open Collab. So are we ready for this?
Yeah, I'm really excited. But it's the first time we've done like a pre-produced track for a poem. And we love improvising and responding to poems live. I think that is super magical and spontaneous, but there's also something really valuable in pre-producing a song and kind of finding those little moments in Leanne's poem to kind of really bring out and add different layers to. So it's going to be something really different. So I'm really excited to show you guys. Let's have a look.
Yeah, let's go.
Psychogeography. Let me tell you a secret. There is room to think beyond the space you give yourself, and you are worth more than you could possibly imagine. But you have been landlocked for so long, you've almost forgotten what it's like to trace the water's shadow with your fingertips and float through life unanchored. But you can still do it. I know you can. So let's take an adventure in slow motion. Breathe the scent of wood smoke and let it guide us through the parts of town no one else sees anymore. The backs of buildings where our grandfathers used to work. The red brick warehouse once filled with coal, and the terrace gardens where our mums hung out washing like they were hoisting flags. We'll find crocuses peering through cracks in the towpaths, see buses bustle over bridges, and listen as the rush of traffic fades to a gentle hum, like the sound of the city breathing. We'll move at a steady pace, water lapping our edges. You'll cradle a cup of tea in freezing fingers and count the magpies on the banks. we'll slip through this city, tasting it on our tongues, and wondering why we don't do this more often. Wondering why we don't take time to waste time more often. We'll unlock this city from the inside, pass through it almost unnoticed, leaving nothing but water in our wake, until it's time to turn ourselves around and go back home.
Yes, Leanne, that was amazing. And thank you so much, Simon, too.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. I loved that poem, Leanne. It was, such a beautiful reading. And we're all about kind of social history and geography and sense of place, aren't we? We have another project with my dad, who runs a history group. And Dad did lots of recordings in the 80s and 90s, talking to people in Barton Hill in East Bristol about their experiences, and we've set that to music, and it's been a really fun project. And so this kind of felt like a kind of extension of that, really. It was really, really fun. So thank you so much for sending that in, Leanne. Look at all of these comments. Awesome. And thank you so much to Simon too. That was so cool.
I'd have to say it was like 0 - 1, which is not that cold to some people, but it was also really windy, and it was awful, and we only managed to get like 1 or 2 takes done before it was like, no, fingers are freezing, we just need to go home. But he pulled through, and that was great. It was really, really nice.
Yes. Yeah. And we've got plenty more of that kind of thing lined up in the works for March and April. So there's going to be a lot more dance. So actually, if you know any dancers or people that you think could move and respond to the poetry, then do give us a shout. Like, for example, Laura, you said your young son's doing interpretive dance. Well, if he wants to send us in a video, that would be great.
If he's currently listening to the stream, one of the next songs in the second half, have a dance and film yourself, and we'd love to see it. That's actually how we sort of, last month, Simon did that to a track, and it was great. He just he was listening to the stream and did some movement, and then we were like, oh, let's do that again.
Yeah, amazing. So I think we're going to take a quick 10-minute break. Go and get a tissue from Lindsay's poem. We'll be back maybe, what should we say, 1:15. But in the meantime, go and put the kettle on. Go and get another beer. Please do buy us a coffee or join us on Patreon down here. Yeah. We can't do this. It's just the two of us doing all of the emailing, all the social media, all of the putting this whole thing together, going out and filming that. Everything is just the two of us. And we're not paid to do this. We just do it because we love it, and we'd love to keep doing it too. So if you can support us just by buying us a little £3 coffee, imagine that we're out in a real life gig and you're buying a ticket for that, or putting some pound coins in the bucket. It would be super duper appreciated. So thank you so much for joining us for the first half of Open Collab, and we'll see you in 10 minutes.
Just before, I saw a question from Tia of what the other project is called. It's called Voices of the Past, and it is all around the history. It's all around the history of Barton Hill, which is a suburb of Bristol, and there is a live stream we did where we sort of showcased the project all as one, with lots and lots of spoken word, lots of historical context from Charlie's dad, and then also some music from both of us.
You can find that on our YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah, so have a scroll through. But yes.
Hey, and by the way, while you're here, if you've not been here before, we do this every month, so please do subscribe to our YouTube channel.
That's true.
So that you can get all the updates and also all of our music too. It really helps. Every subscriber really helps us to reach. You know what the algorithms are like. So every new subscriber that we get means that we can reach 5 other people or whatever and pass it on.
Yeah.
So
it really helps us out.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
See you in 10.
Have a lovely break. See you back here soon. Bye-bye.
Hello, friends. We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
Hope you're all back
Hello.
too.
Yes.
We'll chat for a bit just in case you're not.
Yes. Oh, yes. What should we talk about?
What are we up to tomorrow, Charlie?
Oh, tomorrow we have our Sunday brunch behind the scenes live stream where we did our first one last month. We sit here again at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Sipping our coffee.
Sipping our
eating
coffee.
our croissant.
And we have a camera around the other way so you can see all of the tech. We've got iPads, we've got all sorts going on here.
There's a piano here.
We'll talk you no way. We'll talk you through how we made all the tracks, kind of what our thought process was behind everything, how we kind of interpreted the pieces.
Yeah.
And that we'll talk about that for an hour. We'll answer any questions you guys about an hour. Answer any questions you guys have, kind of reconstruct little bits as well. We did it last time and it was really, really fun. And we had loads of people along. So if you want to come along.
What's the catch though, Charlie? That sounds great.
Oh, it's not a catch.
No, it's not.
But you can
What's
join.
The perk? Sorry.
Yeah, the perk is that you can watch it via our Patreon page. And Patreon is our monthly subscription kind of VIP kind of area where we have a separate news feed where we tell you exclusive things. We tell you what the theme for the next time is or what we've got planned. And yeah, we have that exclusive live stream. We also do, you'll see the credits in the end as well, at the end of the show for all of our lovely Patreons. So for, I think it's one of the tiers is, the lowest tier is £5 a month. So for a pint and a half, maybe not in London. So yes, I guess imagine that we're doing this in a venue and join our club. It's where we're kind of yes. So we'll see you at 11 a.m.
Yeah,
tomorrow morning for our Sunday brunch
join us
behind the
over here.
streams.
Yeah.
Join our Patreon, please do. Or if you don't fancy that, if you just want to do a one-off thing, buy us a coffee to support us. That would be amazing.
And there's been lots of people who've done that in the break, so and in the first half. So really, thanks so much for your support. It's really wonderful to see that, and it really, yeah, like as Charlie was saying before the break, it just goes straight back into everything that we're doing here to make it look and do and be better, and collaborate with more people. And what other art forms can we add music to? We just love adding music to stuff. So we want to keep on growing the community and what we're doing. So yeah.
Thank you
for helping us to do that.
But also, there's loads of ways to support us without spending any money at all. As we said before, every YouTube subscription, every follow on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. The Open Collab everywhere.
Yeah.
And also tell your mates.
Yeah.
Tell your mates.
Yeah.
Please do, because
more poetry, please.
Yeah, exactly. We've only just got started, really. It's been since April last year. We're finding new people every time, and people are finding us, and we just want to do more of the things.
Yeah.
With that in mind, and more new things in mind.
Yeah.
Here is our first ever kind of featured poet set from the wonderful Philip John. So Phil has collaborated with us lots of times before. I think he even sent us a poem for our very first one, which I find is amazing. That was amazing, really, that nobody had seen it done. And they were like, have this. Okay, amazing. So, Phil's going to tell you all about himself and all about his great new poetry collection. And as we said before, we're super excited to work with a collection of poems in kind of more detail. So, and kind of build an evolving world that kind of is more long form. So that's going to be something really new. So we'll hand over to Phil then, shall we?
We shall. He's got lots of introduction and all. Yeah.
Can't wait to hear all about it.
Exactly, all about the pieces and the poetry themselves. Let's first set the scene. There we go. And so, are we ready? I think we're ready.
Sure, let's do it.
Here we go.
Hello, everyone. Good evening to you all. Real pleasure to be with you wherever you are in the world. Hope you're looking after yourselves. I know we've quite an international audience now, so I suppose I should say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Philip John. I'm a Welsh poet, originally from the Rhondda Valleys, and now I live in Monmouthshire in southeast Wales. I also spent about best part of 6 years living over in Bristol, where I had some great experiences, a great time, a really great city. And during this time, I had a number of poetry volumes published. My first book, Home Truths, came out in 2018, and produced a second volume, Searching for Seahorses, which came out in early 2020. And now it's time for volume 3, which is called Songs of Youth, which I'm hoping will be available to you all in just a few days' time. And that's hopefully a little bit of a flavour of what you'll be hearing me read this evening. And of course, during that time, in the last couple of years, I've met some great characters, great artists, and two of those are going to be bringing our words to life this evening. Of course, the wonderful Charlie and Jake, and it's not the first time we've collaborated. I've taken part in the Open Collab a couple of times before, so it's really great to be here again. So I'm hopefully going to read a number of poems from Songs of Youth, my latest collection, and you can find out more about the book, my other books, and myself by searching for my social media pages, Facebook and Instagram at Philip John Poetry. I don't like to say too much about the poems, because the wonderful thing about poetry is that it can be something totally different for each and every person. So what I'll try to do is just give a little bit of context to each poem before the reading. And so this first poem is called King Arthur's Mountains, and much like a lot of my poetry is inspired by nature, and particularly the Welsh landscape. And a lot of my poetry, talks about nature and the environment, environmental issues, but also, the history of Wales and working class Wales, and also, social issues and deeper philosophical issues about life, really. And this poem is really inspired by history and landscape and nature, and the rest of its meaning I will leave to you. And this is called King Arthur's Mountains. The ivory wind cloud's breath takes yours away and changes the flight of a raven lost in a world of shrikes. Whilst in the quiet confidence of King Arthur's mountains, the light bursts through and shapeshifts along the cliffs, a renegade hunting the poltergeists of Brycheiniog. The deep moods of the weather are locked in a duel with the swooping of the slopes, and the summer could just as well be winter, a warning from the heavens sent many times before. The spells of myths and legends at work on the top of the world. Steady as the walk through the windows of the past, the billowing blast of Welsh wind stops mid-flight, and in that void of silent hymns, they will live again as tomorrow's kings. The next poem I would like to perform was written as a recollection of youth and an attempt to recapture some of those powerful creative forces that we hold within childhood, and trying to dig down really and find those creative sparks to help guide us through the troubles of life, really. And this is titled I Was God. I was God when I was young. The paper planes did not fly too low when the trains were still the king of my land. And my land was full of carbon-free cars stacked in the multi-stories of Toy Town. Still I think of all those unfinished stories, cut short by the call of other forces, the raging sun exciting the soul from behind my mountains, or simply the call of a mother, coupled with the hearty aroma of warm bread. I was God when I was young. I was the narrator to an unrecorded theatre, and I wrote about the greatest heroes inside the walls of my home. They were champions defending trophies on the battlefields and across the arenas of destiny. Battle of will and wit. Sometimes a fight to the death, or even the staggering test to the mettle of the immortal. They are still sleeping somewhere. deep down inside my basement. I was God when I was young, before life came knocking down the walls of my kingdom and expelled my magic and banished all the legends. As the playground closed and reopened as a museum, still warm with the memories of sunshine days and moonlit nights, I will never throw away the key, because a world of make-believe may be all we have to make it through the troubled times, and call upon those warriors to guide us through the dark.
I was God when I was young. I was God when I was young. Oh, I was God when I was young. Oh, I was God when I was young.
Call upon those warriors to guide us through the dark, to make it through the troubled times in a world of make-believe. Before life came knocking down the walls of my kingdom, still warm with the memories of sunshine days and moonlit nights.
Oh, I was God when I was young. I was God when I was young. Oh, I was God when I was young. Oh, I was God when I was young.
When I was young.
God when I was young. Oh, I was God when I was young.
The final poem I would like to perform for you this evening was one which I wrote in the very first lockdown, the very first lockdown in the pandemic, and it was really more or less a contemplation of how we might reflect on the changes in the world and how that might impact on our decisions going forward, and how we'll choose to live our lives when we hopefully finally get through the most difficult part of recent times. And this poem was titled Old Haunts. Unread prophecies that called a great demise were waiting within pages, uncared for and left to crumple, as if they were just dead leaves. Out of the winter and into another, not even spring can shed any light. Too many in vivid dreams throughout a comfortable night, and now nature, as intelligently as always, rests the weight of the future, bearing down on us from ancestral butterflies, those same winged beasts who flutter silently through the old haunts of our past. In the mall sits the obsolete signs, unread again, never built to last. Windswept parks are smothered by the silence that invades. Pavement ants take over the streets of town, and without the angry metal birds flying all around, the birds of prey are free to rain the skies, pecking out the fleshy balls of unborn eyes. A new vision, the origin of a species on the rise. The odyssey of a phantom army, the armless one, must renew the grail to drink from these rivers again. Else dribbles of blood shall gather in pools and drown the fleet to flush the world of all its ills and tired seas, indiscriminately. A conquest of Hades is life's slowest burn. The inebriated proletariat are high on the good fight, and fingers are on triggers shooting holes in one another. Desire and ambition delivers a fruit to your taste to keep you occupied and stimulated, still simulated. How long will you be flying before you know you are falling? Take the words of gospel to begin your own ascension, forgetting not that gravity must always keep you grounded. Prophesize your own ideas and fabricate brand new dimensions. The bell tolls and the warblers shoot from trees like darts. When we walk back into the world from the dark, who will we choose to be this time? The mantle of a generation is being written on the wall, to be canonized in memory of us all. Retire from the old haunts for a new world to be.
When we walk back into the world from the dark, who will we choose to be this time? Choose to be this time. When we walk back into the world from the dark, who will we choose to be this time? When we walk back into the world from the dark, when we walk back into the world from the dark, who will we choose to be this time? When we walk back into the world of the winter and into another night, out of the winter and into another night, out of the winter and into. Will you be flying before you realize that you're falling? Will you be flying before you realize that you're falling? When we walk back into the world from the dark, who will we choose to be this time? When we walk back into the world from the dark, who will we choose to be this time? 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 How long will you be flying before you realize that you're falling? Realize that you're falling. Realize that you're falling.
thank you very much to everyone for listening and for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed both the poems from the book and the worlds that Charlie and Jake create. And of course, they'll be creating plenty more worlds for words in the rest of this show this evening, but also in the coming weeks. And I really think it's a great platform for poetry. It's a remarkable project, and all credit to both Charlie and Jake for creating this platform, really. And I think it's such a positive force, and poetry is a positive force, and it's needed now more than it's ever been. And if you enjoyed the poems from the book, please do check them out by searching at Philip John Poetry on both Facebook and Instagram. And I look forward to more open collabs in the months to come, and hope for better times for you all this year. Thank you very much. Good evening.
Wow. Thank you so much, Phil. Amazing poems, so rich, so beautiful. Your performances, as always, were incredible and evocative, and yeah, it was a real privilege to have Phil along to kind of do a longer set like that. I thought that was really cool and felt real, didn't it? It felt the closest to making music live with somebody. That was really, really nice. So thanks so much, Phil, for doing that. And you can buy Philip's book, Songs of Youth, from the 24th, I believe. And as he said, you can find that over on his social media channels. And by the way, all of the social media channels from all of the poets that you'll hear tonight are all below in the description of the video. So if you want to check out anybody, and we would really encourage you to do so. We're doing this to build a lovely community and kind of say hi to everybody after the show. So hi. So do follow everybody and say how great that you all are to everybody, each other. Yes, good. Well, that sorts that out. Thank you so much, Philip John, for an amazing headline feature poet set. Yes, please.
Nice one.
So if you're thinking, shall I submit my poems to Open Collab? Yes, please.
The answer is yes.
And particularly if you have a book or a CD or something coming out, a new collection coming out later this year, then let us know. Send us an email. We'll see if we can fit you in for a featured slot too, because that seemed to work really well.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun.
Yes. Sorry, I talked over you.
No, I just said yes. That was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. I can confirm.
Shall I introduce the next?
Yeah.
The next piece. All right.
That was
There's lots
amazing.
more to go.
Whew.
So
I
let's
can't take much more.
let's hear some more poetry, shall we? This next collaboration is with Tia Meraki, or Tia Meraki. We never checked.
No.
Sorry,
Oh.
Tia Meraki, and her piece, "These Empty Halls of Avalon." And Tia is a poet, yoga teacher, singer-songwriter, jewelry maker, cold water swimmer, and wannabe surfer. And that sounds like a pretty good friend to have. So, hi. And she is based in East Down in Devon. And this piece, "These Empty Halls of Avalon," this is what she has to say about the poem. This was written last summer, just after the first Glastonbury that never was, in response to a prompt from the Tonic Scratch. And I think that's the Bristol Tonic.
I think so.
Scratch.
Yeah.
So we're pretty close to home, even though it's all the way down in
Yeah.
Devon. And we've never been to Glastonbury, so we don't know what it sounds like. But we imagine it sounds something like this.
We'll see.
But well, it's not. Yeah. Anyway, this is her piece, and this is our musical accompaniment to it. Are we ready for it? I think I almost am. Let's just make sure that we are.
friends as she misses mixing sweats with strangers. Grateful for that last gig in Before Times, before the broken beats of a corrupted halo left us all waiting and waiting for the drop. Grateful for swapped smiles and flailing limbs, for drinks spilled, soaked into hair, for clothes vibrating with the bass at a volume neighbours might not appreciate. Listening to her reminisce, I wish that I'd been there. Months pass in a haze. A midsummer pause at a window out to sea, as the solstice sun sets and rises and the halls of Avalon rest empty. A fallow year unplanned. We fall back into step with the heartbeats of the soil under our feet, choosing the long way round, on this pilgrimage of our times toward bare feet, muddy souls dancing together under stars. Music is the shape of our generation's sacred groves. We pour West Country cider at its roots, neo-pagan worship in the Isle of the Blessed. For now, I make my home among the spiders. Dream weavers, story keepers, they spin the fractal warp and weft of this year's tale into corners of stairwells and window frames. Birth, death, love, fear, longing and belonging, with patience and with healing. As we learn just what it is that we cherish, I'm all eyes, ears, heart held, watching and listening for gossamer whispers, wrapped in a cobweb shroud, quieted, but aware still of the weight of my wings bound to my sides. So I go to light a fire upon the doorstep, for warmth and for the solace of flames dancing across irises, then throw an apple core into the fertile ashes.
Drum and bass melodica, yes please.
Oh, that's a bit fun. Thanks, Tia. I'm still distorted. My goodness.
Can you sing a lovely song in that distortion, please?
Well,
no. Well, yeah. Wow. Sounds a bit like that, right? Oh, yeah. That's yeah. That was a vibe.
Thanks so much, Tia. That was awesome. Maybe we should go to Glastonbury. Is that what it's like? Can somebody confirm if that's what it's like?
Yeah, overdriven melodicas and double bass is the bass is used in drum and bass, right? That's what it stands for, double and bass.
Oh, bit of fun. Thank you so much, Tia, for that Awesome poem, and really like amazing imagery in that. And really, really cool. I make my home among the spiders, dream weavers and story keepers. So cool. So cool. Thank you so much for providing that vibe.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. So great. Thank you, Tia. Woo!
I feel pumped.
Yeah, I'm like, let's go out. Remember clubbing?
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Oh dear, the past.
More bands need an overdriven, distorted melodica solo. I'd say.
Wow.
Just putting it out there, you know. Anyway.
Is it the only? Do you think this is the only live stream event where music and poetry are like there's music and poetry and melodica and Glastonbury? I hope so. Happening right now. Like exactly now.
Being streamed from this room. Yes, it's the only one.
The only one in this room.
Yeah.
Ooh, we're having fun. Come on, calm down, everybody. Right. So, everybody take a big breath. We're going somewhere else now.
Yeah.
The next piece we are going to perform for you guys, or perform and collaborate with. The next person we're going to collaborate with is the amazing Rohan Samuel. This poem is called Apologise from the 90s. Rohan's collaborated with us a few times. He is absolutely like winning Instagram at the moment. He is just so cool. Yeah. So Rohan has been inspired by worldly events, past events in his life and community, constantly developing his writing and finding new discovery within words and the phonics of words. Rohan has discovered why he is on his poetry mission. Considered as a wandering arsonist of thought who can't keep his mouth shut, inspiring others to tell their truth, causing a drip feed mentality of positive change through the medium of words, art and expression. Rohan's from London, and this piece, Apologise from the 90s, speaks to both generations, trying to bridge the gap between the old and new. Current generations need to work together with the youth as they are the ones who will one day lead us. Bridge the gap between the two so that we can grow in this world with a togetherness that builds strength in humanity. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Nope, sorry. That's a nice one.
My generation should be the feeder to the youth. Like my father's father to his father's father, we need to rise up and make our presence felt. The millennial generation isn't the same as the 90s babies, feeling like Malcolm in the middle. We were caught up in a time where Microsoft reigned supreme and the notebook was your best friend. Blackboards and whiteboards being chopped and changed in school like a racist debate. We were the pen pal to your email, textbook to your iPad, PlaySnake to your phone apps. Now I understand J. Cole's middle child. We were subconsciously forced into a thought that we would not make it in life, like we were the last of our kind. 90s sprung. As if we were to rise a Terminator to bring about termination, so I apologize to the youth. Because as we had to start from below the bottom, caught in a tug of war between old and new, and we forgot who was after us growing up because we were so determined to right the wrongs of our nations. So as we decided to plug the gap between right and wrong, the nation decided to create wrong from your rights and gave you those IKEA quick fit products with no instructions. So instead of building the right life, you built a life. And hoped you were right without knowing you were descending, and it was up to my generation to guide you spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. Yet we were blindsided by our own faults, and that resonated into your faults. And those higher ups that created faults, they sit in the stands and let the show proceed. But now you have a responsibility to help the youth. And I'm so sorry I never followed that fashion. Take note of the fact that what's wrong ain't right. You can't solve every problem with the bladed anger of a knife. Crime is not cool to the new school of fools that use it as a tool to be seen and not heard. Social media has given you a platform to show a voice and face. And no matter how much you twerk, that will never equate to your intelligence. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry I never gave you the time to grow without worldly understanding. I'm sorry I never gave you the platform that was handed to me before being taken away. I'm sorry I never showed you how to invoke your senses and push through boundaries of opposition. I'm sorry I never took the time to show you my true feelings before I became of an age of wisdom. You see, you may be young, but you are not young-minded. You may feel oppressed, but you are not a slave. You have the opportunity to be born again from the belly of the underdog with a phoenix-like resilience. To show people that you are not what the media claim you are. False claims from false prophets elected are not words from your mouth. They are not your social media representative to show your views through electronic screens. So I'm sorry. I truly am. I wish I could go back in time, but that technology isn't mainstream yet, so I will use my words and my voice to show you right from wrong until you can practice right from wrong and take the comfort that my black mother showed. Take the media flung statements away from your title. Look, I don't want to become nobody's idol. I'm just a lighthouse that's prepared to show you the way.
Yes, Rohan. So cool. So cool. That is such a rich, so rich. Yeah, I mean, I feel really lucky that I've got the words in front of me and I can go back and unpick all of that. But I'm sure it's on his Instagram somewhere, so go and check it out because there was a lot going on there and it was really, really cool. And a really cool video as well. I really love having the videos there. Yeah. It's really nice to feel like you're performing with somebody and you can also respond to their visual cues and their face and their eyes and their hands and stuff. So, and Rohan's so good for that. So, definitely. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to work with your words. They are so cool. So keep sending them. All right. We're nearly up for another month. Whew, it's been quite emotional evening, and we've gone through a lot of different genres for sure.
We always love doing that, though, exploring and experimenting and learning in many different ways.
Yeah.
It's always a joy to
Absolutely.
just do whatever the poem needs. It's not necessarily what we're trying to thrust upon it. We definitely try to let the poem and let the poet and their words and their voice and their performance speak for themselves, and then from that be inspired to make whatever music. Even if we've never heard that kind of music before, we'll try and make it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a lot of fun. So thanks for being here and helping us do what we're doing.
Absolutely. Yes. So we're going to do something a bit different. We're going to do this?
Yes.
Whew. Okay. We're going to play a song. I wrote a song on Thursday, and I've been trying to be kind of writing every day, and Tara, who you may know from last month's Open Collab, has been setting, and I'm sure that many of you do this, setting daily kind of prompts, writing prompts, and one of the days in early February was Ember. And so I wrote a piece around Ember. It was more like just free writing kind of. It was kind of going to be a poem. I wasn't sure what it was going to be. Anyway, it's turned into this. So the song is 2 days old. It's still in that kind of moldable, like a lump of clay, could be turned into anything kind of state. So, but we kind of thought, well, let's play it for you guys, seeing as it came from kind of Open Collab in a way, and also some of the tune comes from another collaboration we did back in September with Claire Davis from Canada called Because Sculpture. So it's a lot of coming together of lots of different things, and we thought it was warm and uplifting and could just be a really lovely time. It's also forgive me for oversharing maybe, but it's about our first date, which was 6 years ago today. Thank you so much. So, yeah, we're going to see how this goes. It's called Ember Memories. And be gentle because it's 2 days old. So many memories. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 3. So many memories that add up to us by fire. Parts of us are still there, layered up, marking the beer mats, drawing maps and family trees. We'll keep tending to those amber memories, those memories, those memories. So much to say that it sometimes overflowed and fizzled away into silence. The crackle of the flames filled in the gaps and found the words even when we couldn't. So many memories that add up to us by fire. Parts of us are still there. Take it easy, restore, revive, hold them up and glorify. Keep tending to those amber memories so they burn bright, so they burn bright. I often think about moving through life, leaving parts of us behind, existing only in our mind. And I'll leave my coat on the chair, so that anytime I need a smile, or I can go back there. Oh, so many memories that add up to us by a fire. Parts of us are still there, lay it up, marking the beer mats, drawing maps and family trees. We'll keep tending to those ember memories so they shine bright amber. Oh, oh yeah, amber. Oh, oh amber. Ooh, amber. So many memories that add up to us by fire. Parts of us are still there. Take it easy, restore, revive, hold them up and glorify. Keep tending to those amber memories so they burn bright. So they burn That'll be drum and bass in a week. We'll see. Oh.
Oh, thanks for the happy anniversaries, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. That's kind. I hope you're all having a lovely, lovely evening. We are. There's nowhere we'd rather be.
If it wasn't clear already, we are definitely having a very good evening.
Yes.
We love doing this so much.
Yeah, it's the best. We've got one more piece for you tonight.
Oh,
oh my goodness. Before we talk about that, let's just talk about next month very quickly. So submissions will open again for March on the 1st of March, and they will close on the 13th, and our show is on the 20th of March. Next month, it is all about International Women's Day. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Yes. So we want to hear your, and if you're thinking, oh, that means I can't submit. Yes, it does. We want poems from, yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes,
no, it doesn't mean that you can't submit. You can submit.
we would like everybody to submit, but maybe about poems about women and female identifying friends and family and people in your important people in your lives that have influenced you and are are lifting you up too. So let's celebrate women on International Women's Day. Well, 2 weeks after, we're also going to be, what else is going on? We're raising money for Womankind, which is a helpline charity for vulnerable women in Bristol. We've got a dance routine from this amazing dance troupe called the Go-Gets, we haven't seen it yet, but I guarantee it will blow your mind. It's going to be amazing and magical and super uplifting and beautiful. So come along for that. That's going to be great. Then in April, it's our first birthday. Woo!
1 whole year of Open Collab and making silly noises on a live stream around poetry that's been sent in to us from all over the world.
So we'll see what we do for that. Not sure. I think it may be a month-long fiesta. The way
Something like that.
The way that the plans are going at the moment, I don't think we're going to sleep. I think it's just going to be like month-long marathon.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're super excited about this project. We're super excited to have you guys all here.
Yeah.
Tell your friends. This is up forever. So if you missed a bit or if you went to go and get a cup of tea or whatever, watch it back whenever. Tell your friends. Send us your poems. Tell your friends. And let's do the last poem then, shall we?
Oh, yeah. So let's do the last poem. So the last poem is by the wonderful Kerry Baker, who has submitted a lot to our project, to Open Collab, and is also one of the lovely patrons. So thank you very much for that. Yes. Well, actually, do you want to talk about this?
Oh, yeah.
Because you're, I don't know why, but yes, do you want to?
Sure, I can
Or
talk
shall
about it.
I don't mind.
No, I can talk about it. So, this piece, Touch Hunger. So how this came about was Adam Crowther is a radio presenter on BBC Radio Bristol, and he was talking on Instagram about mental health and kind of how we're all at the stage of lockdown where we're kind of saying, how are you? Yeah, I'm okay, thank you. And all those kind of, trying to get past that instant, yeah, I'm fine, or whatever. And actually kind of having a conversation around, I'm not doing okay today, or whatever. And, Adam lives on his own and was talking about how tricky it is also when you're in a presenting role like that, in a kind of public role like that, how your persona has to be so positive all of the time because you're lifting other people and uplifting other people. So, that was really interesting that he was talking about that. And he did that on Instagram, which Kerry saw. And so Kerry says, I was writing a lot about self-love at the time. And so his post really spoke to me. I love how because then he played it on his show, BBC Upload. So Kerry says, I love how he played it with birdsong and sheep in the background. That was their edition and it was perfect. So Adam runs a show called BBC Upload, which if you don't know is kind of, it's like BBC Introducing, but for everything, music, poetry, podcasts, whatever. You can just upload your stuff. And it started in Bristol, and Adam last year put it all over the country, and it's in every local radio station now, I think. So if you don't know about it, send them your poems. It's like bbc.co.uk/upload. I'm not sponsored by them. Yeah. But it's a really great way to get your stuff on the BBC and have a interview. And we've had a couple of tracks from Open Collab played, and we'll be sending loads of stuff to them after this show too. So it's been really lovely to see, so Kerry wrote that for Adam, who then played it on the radio, and Kerry's now sent it in to us, and we'll probably send that back to Adam as well. So let's talk about Kerry.
The circle of poetry and music.
Kerry is a writer, collector, noticer, connector. Kerry says, she's been writing myself out of and into quite a lot of stuff the last few years. And I suppose I'm using poetry as a constant tool for creatively thriving through it all. I love that. So this poem, then, is called Touch Hunger.
Are we ready for it?
Hunger. It's okay not to be okay in a world that evidently can't promise it won't sting. I see sadness in people's eyes on Zoom calls, wishing I could unmute and unmask friends, press an unfilter button when they say, nah, I'm fine, all good, thanks, really. I'd gift them in self-love and my love too, bridge the gap between and through the screen to reach them, to trust in love and to gift them permission to land in human. While we live in this time of touch, hunger, starved of connections to outer, we need to dig deep, go inner, lay down roots in self-love, not filling or numbing holes to feel whole, but healing the holes to find home. Hold your own hand, massage your own feet. Self-love is centering love, not selfish, but a gift, a present in the present. Pass the parcel to unlock your unique lockdown treats. Go inward, ripple out, and own love island for one. Love in, love out. Love yourself like no one is watching.
Love in, love out. Love yourself like no one is watching. Love in, love out. Love yourself like no one is watching. Love in, love out. Love yourself like no one is watching. Love in, love out. Love yourself like no one is watching. Love in, love out. Love yourself like no one is watching. Love in, love out. Love yourself like no one is watching. Love in.
I see sadness in people's eyes.
Love yourself.
Wishing I could unmute and unmask friends.
Is watching.
Press some filter button when they say, "Now I'm fine, I'll give thanks." Really, I'd give them is self-love and my love too. Bridge the gap between and through the screen, to reach them, to trust in love and to give them permission
Is watching.
to land in human.
Love in, love out.
Oh, love yourself
like no one.
like no one is watching. Oh, oh, oh.
Love in,
Love in, love out.
love yourself like no one.
Like no one
is
is watching.
Love in, love out.
Reach through the screen to reach them and trust in love and give them permission to land in human. Oh,
Love in,
love in, love out, and love yourself, but no one,
like no
one is watching.
Love
Go
in,
inward, rip aloud and repeat.
love yourself.
Self-love
like no
is a
one
center in love, not
is
selfish,
watching.
but a gift. A present in the present, past the past to unlock. Love yourself, love yourself.
Is watching.
Like no one is watching. Love in, love out. Love yourself like no one is watching.
Love yourself like no one is watching. Love in, love out. Love yourself like no one is watching. Love in, love out. Love yourself like no one is watching.
Love in, love out. Love yourself like no one is watching. Sing along if you know the words, guys. Love in, yourself like no one. Like no one is watching, no. Love in, love out. And love yourself like no one is watching. Love in, love out. Love in and love yourself. Love yourself like no one is watching. Love in, love out. Love yourself like no one is watching. Love in, love out. Love yourself like no one is watching. Yes, please. Thank you, Kerry. That was magical.
She does have such a way with words.
Oh, so good. Feels like Kerry looked after us all a little bit there. And I think, I don't know about you guys, but I needed that little reminder.
Yeah.
Let's look after ourselves and each other.
Yeah. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. What a time. Oh, and what a lovely way to finish off. Something lovely and calm and positive and uplifting. Thank you, Kerry. As always. We will. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in, sending us your poetry, chatting, watching. What an adventure this has been.
Yeah. It has.
We will see you next month for our International Women's Day special of Open Collab on the 20th of March. Yes, please. What else do we need to tell you? Well, thank you so much to all of the poets that took part today. Let's have a look in the list from the beginning. That feels like... So...
Oh, you want the list?
Yeah.
People.
Do you want to do it?
Yes. Thank you very much to Miles Raphael, Bob McKenzie, Steve Head, Jimmy Bowman, Lindsay Price, Leanne Moden,
and
Philip
Simon
John,
Abel.
Simon Abel as well. Philip John, Tia Maraki, Rohan Samuel, and Kerry Baker. And of course, our very own Charlie for her piece, Ember Memories. Wasn't that lovely?
Yeah.
And you can find all of their social medias and links and websites and stuff in the description below.
Yeah.
So do follow all of those poets and spread the love, share the love.
Yeah, absolutely.
But make sure to keep some for yourself.
Yeah, that's nice. Like that. If you've enjoyed tonight, why not buy us a coffee?
Ooh,
we, nice. You know, this seems to be our job now, except, you know, without the wage. So if you have if you've had a lovely time and have £3 to throw our way, we would be eternally grateful. And also join our Patreon. If you're on Patreon, join our Patreon and then to see our Sunday lunch brunch
we'll be drinking all of that coffee.
Behind the scenes thing tomorrow at 11, where we'll talk through all the tracks and talk about how we responded to the poems. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff.
Hit the bell icon and be notified when we next go live.
That's nice. Yeah. If we've missed anything, let us know. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your Saturday night with us. It really means the world to us. Tell your friends, they can catch up anytime. And we will see you next month. We're going to go and get an anniversary curry?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I should have thought so. See you all
Bye-bye.
next time. Bye.
Oh, thanks so much. Oh, wasn't it great?
It was really fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, bye.
Yeah, bye.